Are you a class 10 student who's trying to navigate through this huge syllabus, its projects, unsure about how to organize everything, form a routine, and get everything done? Let me help you out.
Welcome! This is episode 5 in the ongoing ICSE preparation series where you and I prepare ourselves for our upcoming ICSEs. We begin by writing everything that needs to be done on a piece of paper. The goal here is to get everything out of our minds on the paper and then estimate and figure out how we can fit all these tasks into our calendar. Now once everything is written down, we need to figure out if there are any due dates for any of these tasks. In that case, we're going to give more importance to those things and get those things done as early as possible. Alright, so from this list here, I can see that I have only one due date for 2 project submissions. That's on 5th of January. And that means I have to incorporate the finishing of these things in the first couple of days of the holidays. And otherwise we have the board prescribed routine for the ICSEs, and so that's something that we have to keep in mind as we schedule the subjects so that I'm able to finish everything at least much before the actual exam. The idea here is to finish every subject's revision in the order that the exams are going to be held. That is, whatever subjects comes in whatever order, I'm going to revise and study in that particular order, if that makes sense. Moving on, we get into the more interesting part where we go on Google Calendar, create a new calendar and make bigger time blocks for the main things that we have to do, for the main headings basically. One heading may be studying, another can be projects, another can be other activities that you do in a day, because you want to create a layout of the important tasks that you do on a daily basis compulsorily every single day without fail. I would like to show you the process that I have been following, because this is the same process but the template that I have been following thus far, but mainly focusing on the time when I was doing my second assessments projects, and that whole thing has allowed me to do everything much before most of my friends did. Alright, so this was my Google Calendar from the month of October during the Puja holidays when I was doing my projects. Now here you can see I have pretty much like blocks scheduled for certain things. For example, wake up, morning reading, all of that. And here I have project or study in this green little thing, and then I bring in what project I want to do or everything. So based on these templates or these time blocks, I schedule in my little tasks. For example, I do encapsulation here, I did some geography chapter 11, whatever, and then I did some physics project, then I had my lunch. Then again, during the study block, I was studying physics during this time block. For some reason, I wasn't doing anything here, or maybe I was doing some project. Who knows? I highly recommend that you create these ideal week calendars and then schedule everything in. And if you have tuitions, by the way, I would like to address this. For every single day, schedule the times that you go for tuitions. If it's on Monday, for example, from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., then on Tuesday, 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., and so on and so forth for every single day of the week. Now you have the remaining part of the day left to work with. In these hours, first figure out what are the times when you do some compulsory stuff. Schedule those things first. Be done with all of those things. Then, in the empty spaces that you now have between your tuitions and the other compulsory things that you do on a daily basis, divide those into 2 halves, one for project, another for studying. And then you have your calendar ready for the week, and take every small detail and then place them. Be done with that thing. The best part about using the digital calendars is that you have an idea about how things are going to look like on a daily basis. Not just that, you can set recurring events. Like once you create this ideal week thingy, it can be set on a recurring basis where it just goes and comes and comes and goes every single week. And you don't have to create this thing for every week all over again. A bonus tip here. If suddenly some urgent, even more urgent than the previous things, comes up in between and tries to mess up your schedule, what are you supposed to do in that case? I would highly request you, in fact, to reschedule everything immediately, because I've been guilty of this. Let me just be honest here. I have had many a times when some important task came in and I gave more importance to that. I started doing all of those things, but in the process abandoned the things that were already scheduled in my calendar. Now what happens that way is that you get this thing done, you submit this thing, but then meanwhile the submission date for that certain thing also comes up that you had originally scheduled and planned for. In that case, you have lesser time to work in this area, and therefore I suggest that try and reschedule everything in a way that you're giving enough time for everything every single day as far as possible. In that way, you're not going out of track, you're not falling out of track, you're still having a plan to follow. I know it is difficult to finish everything the night before the submission date, but I truly believe, and I believe it for a fact, that if you know how to do it the correct way, and if you do it efficiently, you can finish it much earlier than how you finish it. I can say at an estimated of, at least you can finish 30 hours before the original submission time, because let me tell you, I am somebody who is having much more time than most of the other students, which means I finish everything maybe a week or even 2 weeks before the submission time. Taking me out of the students community now. I only have the main group to work with. In that case, you can finish it, in my opinion, at least 30 hours before, if you're like very busy, even then. But that requires you to be very diligent, very determined and disciplined, so that you're actually following through. If this video has been helpful to you, then I would love for you to subscribe and hit the notification bell next to it, because there are some very exciting and I believe very helpful videos coming up in the weeks to come. And if you liked this video, then I would also highly recommend that you check out the rest of the videos in the ICSE preparation series in the form of this playlist here. And till then, study well, and if you have some time, do watch this. I'll see you there. Bye.